Now to a Target 8 investigation you'll only see on 8. We've already told you about the Wolverine Worldwide dump site in Belmont and the neighbors nearby living with toxic water.
Well, now some homeowners fear that they've been drinking the likely carcinogen for more than 20 years. Tonight, Target 8 exposing nearby illegal dump sites that have gone unchecked for decades, raising more fears about what could be seeping into the groundwater.
Here's Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker.
Brian and Marley, the Wolverine Worldwide dump site was perfectly legal before it closed more than 40 years ago, but now some neighbors who live near that site are leading us to other illegal dumping grounds.
Yeah, I'm ground zero.
Even the scientists were shocked by what they found in Sandy Wynn's drinking water in July. Are you wondering now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every night. Because you think that you try to eat healthy, you drink water, you do all those things, and then it turns out that you're not supposed to drink the water, that it'll kill you.
The first time they tested her drinking water in mid-July, it had 27,000 parts per trillion of a toxic chemical known as PFAS, which was used in Scotchgard, which for decades was used by Wolverine on its shoes, and which could lead to birth defects, liver and thyroid problems, and cancer.
First time it tested at 27,000, which they thought was a bit of an outlier.
The EPA limit for drinking water is 70 parts per trillion.
So they came back and tested it again, and this last time I think it was closer to 38,000.
That's 542 times the allowable limit.
For 20 years, I've been drinking pretty much straight Scotchgard.
Actually, more like 24 years. Her home is among 14 near the House Street dump with at least some of the chemical, half of those over the EPA limit. More homes are being tested. She and some neighbors wonder, did it cause some of the medical conditions they aren't yet ready to talk about publicly?
I think about that every single night. It keeps me up every night.
She wonders where it's coming from. The dump used legally decades ago by Wolverine straight across the street from her, the illegal dump site on state property next door, or both. Neighbors led us to the illegal site next to her home, south of House Street along the west side of southbound US 131. It's in a ravine on MDOT property more than 100 yards from the road, hidden in a dense wood. Undisturbed, it would appear for decades until we started digging into it.
It's pretty significant, yeah. Drums are not well thought of.
At Target 8's request, the senior research scientists at Grand Valley State University's Annis Water Resources Institute walked the site. Target 8 counted 18 rusty 55-gallon drums, some with a dark brown residue.
It looks like it's some kind of a process waste from the tannery. So
some barrels with chunks of brown goo, perhaps, he says, glue used to make shoes.
Adhesives typically have hazardous chemicals in them. So
Target 8 also showed him layers of processed animal hides buried in the side of a hill.
Yeah, so you can pull up hides as you go down. I'm still pulling up hides. I'm about 2 feet down.
One neighbor who didn't want to go on camera told Target 8 he stumbled across the illegal dump site more than 30 years ago, that he saw sludge in the rusty barrels even back then. That's about the same time Sandy Wynn tried gardening in her yard for the first time.
But it took forever to rototill it because we kept having to pull up this stuff, which was hides and fill and just junk.
Buried a half-foot or so under her side yard.
They dumped everywhere here, all along here. They dumped everywhere.
Neighbors also led Target 8 to a second illegal dump site about a half-mile down House Street. It's on private property, again in a deep ravine, not visible from the road. We counted 21 rusty barrels, some still with that brown residue.
Said it looks like they dump things that they weren't allowed to dump in the waste trenches, So.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder what's in those barrels.
Yeah.
And mounds of hide, some covered with moss.
This is treated pig skin, yeah.
A retired truck driver told Target 8 he worked in the late 60s for a trucking company that hauled sludge from the former Wolverine plant in Rockford.
I'd come down Harrington House and just around the curve, go in.
Dumped it daily.
It was gray like concrete and smelled like rancid bacon.
in trenches about 6 feet deep.
When you're dumping there, that's Wolverine's property,
Yes.
and that was all legal, right?
Yeah, nobody knew anything different. It was 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of laws have come along since then that made it illegal. But at the time we dumped it, everything was most kosher.
But he says he never hauled barrels or animal hides to House Street.
Now, these weren't dump sites for Wolverine, were they?
Not that I know of. I never dumped there.
Okay.
In fact, as I said, I never dumped any hides at all. And I never dumped barrels in that site.
He says he never dumped anything off Wolverine property.
That'd be illegal as could be, as far as I know.
Neighbors said they hadn't paid much attention to either illegal site until news broke about the contamination at Wolverine's House Street dump.
It hits you home. I mean, all you think about is your tainted well that you have now.
And his wife and 2 kids who have been drinking it for 6 years.
Allow my kids to drink pop every now and then, and I always say, hey, drink water, be hydrated. And now I kind of feel bad that I forced them to drink this water now that I know what I know now.
Neighbors want answers.
I mean, it should be a priority to track where this material is. We know it's contaminating groundwater, and now there's other places off-site that may have the same material. So.
A DEQ official today told us they weren't aware of the illegal dump site until neighbors told them this summer. They say Wolverine is working on a plan to clean that up. In a statement, Wolverine did say it is working closely with the DEQ and now plans to test wells at about 300 area homes. Plainfield Township also is taking steps to extend city water to that area, but that could take more than a year.
Ken, is it likely that this will expand now, that the DEQ's involvement looking into these areas and the residents who live out there, are we talking about a wider area than first thought?
Well, you know, the testing is just started on the actual site, and now they're going to have to put in monitoring wells to see how far that goes. I mean, they've got to determine kind of the scope of a plume to see how far it's gone.
Absolutely.
And this is really just the beginning. You've got another story coming up tomorrow.
And they say it could take up to 2 years to determine how big that plume is.
Unbelievable.
All right, we'll stay on it. Ken Colker, thank you.